A very good morning, class. Hope you all are fine and stay at home. Class, today we will be going to start our next chapter, that is the chapter number 4, Rural Life and Society. So, in this chapter, we will be going to discuss about the Britishers, how they can brought about widespread changes in the field of land revenue system regarding in the agriculture changes in trade and industry, etc. So now let's discuss how these policies would affected the Indian people. Also, we will be going to discuss about the very important concept, that is the Zamindari system. So, class, let's start with the chapter Rural Life and Society. Now, if we can talk about rural life, before the coming of the Europeans was very simple. Here, the Indian villages were more or less are self-sufficient. Here, mostly families belongs to the peasant family. They can cultivate the land and paid a part of the produce to the ruler as a revenue. Now, our question arises that what are the effects on rural life? So, rural life basically includes those areas which are not developed areas and which mostly includes the villages areas where peoples were more or less self-sufficient. Here, the villagers' main activity regarding the agriculture of crops. Here, they can cultivate the crops, and with the help of that cultivation of crops, they can satisfy their basic needs. If we can talk about the main motive, here the main motive of the British, like any other imperial power, was to collect the revenue from the peasants from their land. So here the Britishers collect revenue and they can rule over all Indian farmers, as they treated as Indian farmers as a peasants. Now, here the British introduced three different types of land revenue settlements in different parts of India. They want three different types of revenue. The name of three includes three different programs or plans. First one is the Zamindari system, second one is the Ryotwari system, and third one is the Mahalwari system. So these are the three systems that was introduced by the Britishers for the Indian farmers. Dear class, one thing remember that Zamindari system is also called a permanent system. This system was introduced firstly in the Bengal in the year 1793. It can include various type of provisions, like if the Zamindaras were made the owners of land, then they work as agents for collecting the revenue, and the Zamindaras have to pay 89% of the collected land revenue to the government also. Here the land revenue was fixed for 10 years on a permanent basis. So these are the various provisions that was made in the permanent settlement that was launched by the Britishers for Indian farmers. If we can talk about our second system, second settlement is called a Ryotwari system. This system was firstly introduced in the city Madras between the year 1820 to 27. Basically, it can include two type of provisions. First one, there were no Zamindaras or other intermediator whom they can settle the any type of dispute. Second one is that it can produce more revenue than any other system. Now, if we can move towards third one, this is our third system, Mahalwari system. This system was introduced here, Central India and Punjab. If we can talk about this system here, the settlement was made with the group of villages collectively, that is called a Mahal. Here, the land is in these villages belong to the village community, in which they can responsible for the payment of land revenue, means they can pay a jointly responsible for a land revenue. If we can move towards our next topic is the commercialization of agriculture. Here commercialization means the production of cash crops like cotton, jute, oil seeds. These are called the cash crops. Here they can focus on the more production of commercialization of agriculture. It can include various type of crops like indigo, cotton, opium, sugar, tea, etc. So now let's discuss all these commercial crops of agriculture one by one. First one is the sugar. If we can talk about the large area of land was given to the European speculators who began setting up sugar plantation in the Uttar Pradesh. Here they want more peasants that all can produce the gur for the local consumptions. Now our second commercial crops is the opium. So these here the Britishers imported these crops in a large quantity from China. Why? Because the development of opium as a commercial crops fulfilled two objectives. It yield huge revenue in India. Second one, it also created a channel for the proper distribution. Now our third one commercial crop is the indigo. Basically it is a dye extracted from a tropical plant. Class, here the tropical plant means it is a type of plant which is used to color the textile that was a very in great demanded during the Britishers. So class, this is all about your chapter that rural life and society, that how our Indian farmers faced many type of problems from the Britishers or from the European peoples. Thank you.